Hello everyone, a very good evening. In today's newspaper Analysis Townhall, we are going to cover these topics. First one, PM-CM Removal Bill. Here we will have a look at the various provisions of the bill. Also, we will analyze it critically. What are its benefits, what are the challenges, and what should be done. Second article, importance of the first 1,000 days of life of a child. First 1,000 days are very critical for the cognitive development, emotional development, as well as health. Third article, cost of invasive species, which is estimated to be around $2 trillion. Okay, so here we will have a look at what are invasive species and what is the impact of these on India. Then we will understand in layman's term how cryptocurrency and blockchain works. Basically, blockchain is the platform on which crypto operates. Then space and defense sector updates. Let's start. Yes, 130th Constitutional Amendment Bill, which has become a contention now between the center, the states, opposition party, the ruling party, and the academia. Firstly, we will see what are the various provisions of the bill and also the similar provisions in RPA and what are the Supreme Court judgments regarding MPs, MLAs, and ministers, their disqualification and their elections, then the positives, negatives, and way forward. First of all, the core idea of the bill is that any minister, whether it's Prime Minister, Chief Minister, or simple minister, if arrested and detained for 30 consecutive days in offenses which are punishable up to 5 years or more, so they will be disqualified automatically after the 30 days. Minister arrested, detained for 30 days, removed from office. Okay, if they do not resign, for example, minister do not resign, then on the PM's or CM's advice, PM in case of central ministers, CM in case of state ministers, even if the PM, CM do not approve of the removal, on the 31st day, they will be automatically removed. Okay. Then after they are released from the, for example, if they are arrested for 30 days, then they are removed. Then they are released from the jail. Then they will again take the office. They can again come back to take their office. This provision will apply to all the states, also the union territories of Jammu Kashmir, Pondicherry, and also Delhi. Delhi is basically the central point because the major reason behind the introduction of this bill is the arrest of ministers and chief minister in Delhi. This is what the bill says regarding ministers. Now the RPA talks about legislators, that is MPs and MLAs. If they are arrested or they are convicted, any MP, MLA or a person convicted and sentenced for 2 years or more, 2 साल से ज्यादा की उसको sentencing हो गई है. यहाँ पर ओनली अरेस्ट है, कोई सेंटेंसिंग नहीं है. यहाँ पर सेंटेंसिंग कोर्ट ने दे दी है 2 years और मोर की. Then they will be disqualified from the post of MPs or MLAs, as the case may be. Also, there will be disqualification for 6 more years after the sentencing period ends. Okay, but there was one exception in this. There was Section 8, Subclause 4, which allowed the sitting MPs and MLA. For example, if a sitting MP got 3 years in jail, sentencing by the court, right? Then if they file an appeal before the higher court, then their sentencing will definitely be paused and they will not be disqualified. So even if they appeal to the higher court, their disqualification used to suspend. Supreme Court in Lily Thomas case struck down this provision, saying this is unconstitutional. Okay, if you have been sentenced and now you are just filing an appeal cannot be the ground to stop the disqualification. So in case of MPs and MLA, this is the situation. If you are jailed for more than 2 years, you are disqualified. Now for ministers, if the bill is passed, if you are in jail for 30 days, you will be disqualified. There have been various Supreme Court judgments regarding the disqualification of MPs, MLAs and ministers. 𝐼𝐸 case, it stresses about the constitutional morality. Basically, election of the candidates to the post of MPs, MLAs, then nomination as ministers, they all require some morality on part of the party as well as the candidate. So in this case, Supreme Court underlined the Importance of constitutional morality as guiding principle. That the democratic institutions, these are the posts, that is the MPs, MLAs, and ministers, must be nurtured through integrity and accountability. Okay. Second, Manoj Narula case. It warns against appointing ministers with serious criminal charges. These are the initiatives on the part of the court to clean the electoral process. So in this, Supreme Court warns that the ministers who have serious criminal charges like murder, rape, they should not be appointed as ministers. Lily Thomas case, which we read it here. Immediate disqualified on conviction, not on arrest. Yes, arrest पे नहीं, conviction हो गया 2 साल या उससे ज़्यादा, they will be immediately disqualified. Courts basically recognized moral standards. Okay, these should be followed. But कभी भी court ने mandate नहीं किया कि remove करो before conviction. This is an important point to be noted. Conviction के बाद, okay, you are disqualified. But before conviction, according to court, we should follow moral standards, but it has not been mandated. Right? What are the positives of the bill? We just should not focus only on the negative side of the bill. If a question comes in main like discuss or analyze this bill, we should also write the positives, because there should be certain reasons why the government has introduced it. So we should have that acceptance to understand the positives of the bill. Firstly, this issue of criminalization of politics. 46% MPs in 2024, according to ADR data, have serious criminal cases. 46% MPs. Therefore, there is a requirement to clean this process, clean this criminalization of politics. So it will address the corrupt leaders who are holding office from jail. We have seen in case of Delhi. No need to comment on whether somebody is corrupt or not, but when they are in jail, they were holding the offices. Second, now the integrity in governance is being will have legislative backing, because it will be now a law. So according to the law, these integrity and accountability will be ensured in the governance. This criminalization we discussed, and also a strong normative stance against the corruption, because it will definitely, the MPs, MLAs, ministers, they are arrested for basically on the corruption charges only most of the time. So it will act as a normative step against corruption. But there are various criticism and constitutional pitfalls, that is the constitutional issues as well, and challenges in the implementation also. What are the challenges? सबसे पहले, presumption of innocence under Article 21, right to life and liberty. If a person is not convicted by the court, till that moment that person is innocent, right? So in case of this bill, if an minister is arrested, he is not convicted or proved in court of law that they have committed the crime. So even if they are arrested, they are penalized. Penalized as in they are disqualified. So what happens to this presumption of innocence? Okay, removal based on arrest, detention violate this principle. In RPA, the disqualification is based on the conviction, but in this bill, even the detention by the police, it will lead to disqualification. Second, inconsistency with provisions regarding ministers and legislators. दोनों का अलग-अलग है. क्यों? लेजिस्लेटर के लिए हमने पढ़ा था जब कन्विक्शन होगा ओनली देन डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन, लेकिन मिनिस्टर के लिए तो केवल डिटेंशन पे ही डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन हो जाएगा. ओवर ब्रेड्थ ऑफ स्कोप, इट कवर्स ऑल ऑफेंसेस व्हिच आर पनिशेबल विद 5 years और मोर. चाहे नॉन करप्ट केसेस हैं, कुछ भी माइनर केस कैन बी देयर. एक माइनर केस के बेस पे यू कैन अरेस्ट अ मिनिस्टर, स्पेशली इन केस ऑफ स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स. सो देयर विल बी द डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन. Centralization misuse by using the central agency. Central government can misuse these provisions. If, for example, a central government do not want particular state government or minister in a state, then they can arrest a minister on false charges also. Then they will be disqualified. So it will create a scope for vindictive politics. So what should be done? Our suggestions should always be balanced. We should not go to the extreme that, okay, this bill should not be passed or this bill should be passed without any amendments. There can be some checks and balances, which the article suggests. First one, see, removal after the arrest for 30 days is not right. So what can be done is, if a competent court frames charges, that okay, charges have been framed by the court, then they can be removed. It can be one of the check and balances. Second, there can be judicial or tribunal oversight so that the misuse is not happening. Right. Third, do not remove, do not disqualify it. There can be a temporary or interim suspension in case of arrest or after the charges have been framed. Also, the scope can be narrowed. Any offense which is punishable for more than 5 years. Now the case is this, it can be narrowed down to cases or crimes which include moral turpitude, corruption or serious offenses, not all 5-year imprisonment cases. So this is all about this article. What are the provisions, positives, negatives, Supreme Court observations and RP provisions. So now let's see. The bill has been passed to the JPC, Joint Parliamentary Committee. The committee will now have a look at it and will propose amendments. So we'll see how this will evolve. Second one, yes, this article basically talks about the importance of the first 1,000 days of life of a child. How important they are from the perspective of the brain development, nutrition, maturity, adequate growth. Okay, according to the article, 80% of the adult weight is attained by the age of 2. बेसिकली हमारा जो अडल्ट का वेट है ब्रेन का, उसका 80% हम फर्स्ट 2 साल में ही अचीव कर लेते हैं. Okay, and during this time only various developments in brain like synapse development. What is synapse development? This is basically number of synapse. I'll tell you what is synapse per unit volume of brain. Synapse is nothing but connection between neurons. हमारा ब्रेन कैसे काम करता है? जब इंफॉर्मेशन एक न्यूरॉन से दूसरे न्यूरॉन में पास होती है तो दैट इज हाउ द ब्रेन फंक्शंस. सो हमारे जो कनेक्शंस हैं न्यूरॉन्स के बीच में वो कितने हैं पर यूनिट ऑफ ब्रेन, मतलब इतना ब्रेन में. फॉर एग्जांपल हम ये वाला पार्ट लेते हैं तो इसमें साइनेप्स कितने हैं, कितने न्यूरॉन्स के कनेक्शन है एक दूसरे से. ओके, तो ये डेवलप हो जाता है फर्स्ट 2-3 इयर्स के पीरियड में ही. फ्रंटल लोब है विच आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम द perspective of cognitive functions like planning, sequencing, self-regulation. So these important functions where the brain, how the brain functions, how brain develops, they all develop during the first 2-3 years of a child. Also nutritional deficiency. If there's a nutritional deficiency during the first 3 years of a child, then it is almost impossible to reverse it. Okay, so first 3 years nutrition is very important. Brain cognitive development is very important. In India has been doing good in terms of malnutrition, stunting, but there's a long way to go. Even if we go by the current pace, which we call it, okay, we are doing good, we will achieve 10% stunting by 2075 only. 2075 में. What is stunting? Basically एज के हिसाब से जिसकी हाइट कम होती है बच्चों की, उसको बोलते हैं they are stunted. एवरेज हाइट होनी चाहिए एक पर्टिकुलर एज में, अगर उससे कम है तो they are called stunted. And India is expected to reach 10% stunting by 2075. Okay, so this is, I think, a long time. We should increase the speed up so that we can achieve it by 2047. There has been a study in Tamil Nadu, Vellore, on childhood iron deficiency. We are talking about the nutritional deficiency now. In this study, it was found that lack of iron in the child's body, or iron deficiency, basically negatively impacts verbal performance, cognitive processing speed at age 5, and also affects our expressive language development, how a child express themselves. एक बच्चा अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस कैसे करता है, बोलने के तरीके से, इमोशनल तरीके से, how they play, how their brain is functioning, how their body is functioning. So all these are negatively affected if there is a lack of iron. Government has launched various programs. First one is ICDS, Integrated Child Development Service, which prioritize nutrition as well as education. Again, motion bhi, padhai bhi. So cognitive development and nutrition, they go hand in hand. अगर अच्छा nutrition बच्चे को मिल रहा है, body will be fine, body will be good. If body is good, then mind will be good. Okay, a healthy mind stays in healthy body only. Okay, there is now Chetna also, where there are 140 activities are listed so that cognitive stimulation can happen in child. Various activities, play activities, some puzzle activities, so that a cognitive development of the child can happen. But these are not enough. This we can observe from this data. we are expected to reach by 2075, 10% stunting पे. So it needs to speed up this ICDS program. It needs to increase the coverage. We need high quality service in health, nutrition, early learning. Also, we need to leverage the technology and enhance these services in urban areas, because now we are migrating from rural to urban. So focus should be done on the urban areas also. Pre-primary education is one of the ways how this can be developed. So these 14 lakh Anganwadi centers, workers, ASHA workers, all these should be leveraged by using the technology also. Okay, this is about the article. Yes, this is important one. Is India underestimating the cost of dealing with invasive species? One of the invasive species, water hyacinth, we covered last week. So today we are going to have a look at how invasive species have costed the world in the last 40, 50, 60 years. Okay, first of all, what are invasive species? They can be animals, they can be plants or other organisms जो बाहर से लाए जाते हैं, that is introduced into places outside of their natural range. For example, इंडिया में कोई प्लांट का स्पीशीज लाया गया है लैटिन अमेरिका से. Okay, and after the introduction, after a point of time, they start impacting the ecosystem negatively. Native biodiversity को negatively impact करेंगे. Then entire ecosystem, also the human being. These are the invasive alien species. Now a new study has been done. Earlier the data was not reliable. So the study done by this published in Nature, Ecology and Evolution. From 1960 it has been done by using various modeling exercises. The impact of the invasive species, the damage which has been caused by them, is estimated to be $2.2 trillion worldwide between this period. Okay, पहले जो रिपोर्ट किया गया था उससे 16 टाइम हायर है ये, $2.2 trillion. This is a huge amount. Okay, if region wise we take a look, Europe is the most impacted, 71% of the global cost. Then North America, then Asia, then Africa, then Australia, then this region. Okay, there's an example also of some species. Plants are the most costly, then anthropod, then mammals. 926 billion alone by the plants. So plants are a measure, then anthropods. Example have been given in this. If such examples come in prelims, a statement will come, this name will be there, this name will be there, and they will ask, they have been in news, what are they? They will give you examples. So there will be 4 options. One option will be invasive species, so that will be the correct option. They are impacting India also. First of all, India का data reliable बिल्कुल नहीं है. Discrepancy किस level तक की सोच के देखना, 10%, 100,000, no, 1.6 billion% is the discrepancy in the data in India. So data is not reliable at all from India. So whatever is being given in this data, it is expected to be a lot higher in reality. Reality में impact बहुत ज़्यादा होगा. Okay, India is already facing severe environmental crisis, deforestation. We all know the West region, the Marathwada region, biodiversity loss, water scarcity, underground water issues. Okay, so what is this? IAS. This is not Indian Administrative Service. This is invasive alien species. Again, names are given. They can come in exam. Prospis juliflora, lantana, parthenia weed, and water hyacinth. Last week we discussed it. Okay, they're widespread. What they do, they choke the farmlands, rivers and forest. Okay, rivers का पानी use करने लायक नहीं है. Forest में they expand like anything and they destroy the entire region. Okay, so the cost is not only limited to ecological but economic also. So this cost is very much higher than reported. Okay, which impact the agriculture productivity, fisheries and forestry. Definitely. These conventions are also important. 2 conventions are there, international policies in place to control this. First is Ballast Water Management Convention. The aim is to prevent the spread of harmful aquatic organisms. So again prelims में question आ सकता है, which of these conventions are related to the control of invasive alien species? This one is there. Okay, so ship का ballast water होता है, उससे spread ना हो aquatic organism, harmful aquatic organism का, उसको prevent करता है ये. The CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity. Okay, it basically calls on the member countries, India also, to control and eradicate alien species. So these conventions deal with the invasive alien species, introduction of them. Okay, this is about the article in the invasive alien species. Yes, now we will understand in layman's term what is blockchain. देखो क्या होता है बेसिकली, पहले कैसे काम होता था अर्ली जमाना क्या 10-20 साल पहले भी अकाउंटेंट होता है, उसकी बुक है, उसमें अलग अलग पेजेस हैं, पेज नंबर 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, उसने एंट्री करी इस पेज पे, पेज डन, फिर सेकंड पेज पे एंट्री करी रजिस्टर में, ठीक है। अब जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ते जाएंगे, अब इसकी जो लास्ट एंट्री है, फॉर एग्जांपल इन सबका टोटल करके 1000 आया, तो यहाँ से ये स्टार्ट करेगा, फिर इसको टोटल करेगा, फिर इसको टोटल करेगा, ठीक है। तो दिस इज हाउ इट यूज्ड टू हैपन। एक्सेस किसके पास होता था इसका, जो अकाउंटेंट है उसको एक्सेस होता था। ऐसा नहीं है कि एनीबडी कैन कम एंड लुक एट द व्हाट इज द डेटा, नो, अकाउंटेंट या फिर जो भी स्टेक होल्डर्स होते हैं उनको डेटा एक्सेस होता था। ओके, हाउ ब्लॉकचेन वर्क्स, ब्लॉकचेन भी इसी तरह से काम करता है। सो फॉर एग्जांपल दिस इज ब्लॉकचेन, इसमें अलग अलग ब्लॉक्स हैं। नाउ इमेजिन ये जो रजिस्टर में डेटा है इसकी एक एक्सेल शीट बना लेते हैं, गूगल शीट, ठीक है। इसमें भी सारी एंट्रीज हैं, इसका एक लिंक है, जिसके पास भी लिंक होगा एक्सेस कर सकता है पूरा डेटा। सो हियर इन ब्लॉकचेन व्हेन अ ट्रांजैक्शन हैपेंस, मान लो इफ आई बाय समथिंग, तो इसमें एंट्री हो गई डेटा की, ओके। फिर किसी और ने बाय किया, फिर एंट्री हो गई डेटा की। जैसे ही पेज खत्म हुआ, एक हैश जनरेट होता है जो इसको लिंक करता है अगले पेज से, अगले ब्लॉक से, इसको ब्लॉक बोलते हैं। ऐसे ऐसे करके इसमें एंट्री होती रहती है। इसमें और इसमें डिफरेंस क्या है बेसिकली, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इसका सारा एक्सेस जो है एनीबडी कैन एक्सेस इट। अब ये देखो इसका फायदा क्या है, क्रिप्टो करेंसी है, क्रिप्टो करेंसी की रेगुलेशन कोई है नहीं, नो सेंट्रल बैंक, नो आरबीआई, नो गवर्नमेंट आर रेगुलेटिंग इट। तो जो भी क्रिप्टो करेंसी की ट्रांजैक्शन होती है उस पर ट्रस्ट कैसे करें, उस पर ट्रस्ट ऐसे करें क्योंकि ब्लॉकचेन पे ऑपरेट होती है। मान लो मैंने क्रिप्टो करेंसी खरीद ली, ए ने, उसकी एंट्री हो गई, फिर बी ने वही खरीद ली, उसकी एंट्री हो गई, अब सी ने खरीद ली, वही होगी। तो मुझे हाउ वुड आई नो दैट द ओनरशिप बिलोंग्स टू दिस पर्सन? If I want to buy, I need to know the ownership. So through this blockchain, I can get to know because I can see the entire chain of that particular cryptocurrency. इसका एक फायदा ये है कि it cannot be edited और deleted. पुराना जो डेटा है इसको एडिट या डिलीट या चेंज नहीं कर सकते हो। सो पूरी ट्रस्टवर्दीनेस है और पूरा ट्रांसपेरेंसी है। This is how blockchain works. This is how the functions and the features differ from the traditional system. क्रिप्टो करेंसी ड्राइव फ्रॉम द वर्ड क्रिप्टोस, इसका नाम ही मतलब ही सीक्रेट है, हिडन है, ओके। वी कैन नॉट सी टच इट, ना बैंक कंट्रोल करता है, ना आरबीआई, से भी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कोई नहीं करता है, ये डिसेंट्रलाइज नेटवर्क होता है। व्हाट हैपेंस इन ब्लॉकचेन, देखो अब क्लोजिंग बैलेंस जो लास्ट पेज का था वो नेक्स्ट का फर्स्ट हो जाता है, एक हैश होता है जो आगे आगे उसको कनेक्ट करता है, हमने जैसे डिस्कस किया। ये ग्लोबली शेयर्ड है ब्लॉकचेन, इट्स लाइक गूगल शीट ओनली, जिसके पास लिंक है, जिसको एक्सेस करना है वो एक्सेस कर सकता है। Anyone can access it. They can view the entries, but we cannot erase or tamper the previous entries. Okay. So what blockchain does? Blockchain basically ensure the transparency, security and trust without a bank. क्योंकि बैंक है, हम बैंक में गए, पैसे लेने हैं, देने हैं, बैंक एज ए इंटरमीडियरी काम करता है, so we can trust a bank. But here no bank is involved. So how do we trust? Because of this technology of blockchain, the trust is developed without any intermediary. This is how the blockchain functions, and cryptocurrency works on this principle. Then updates in defense and space sector. DRDO has tested a multi-layered indigenous air defense system. Air defense system की importance हमने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के टाइम देख लिया, how important they are, S-400, आकाश. So in this multi-layer air defense system, basically three things are there. First one is indigenous quick reaction surface to air missile. Second, very short range air defense system missile, जिसकी रेंज शॉर्ट है. Third is high power laser based directed energy weapon called as laser weapon. तो एक टाइम पे 3 targets were hit, 3 different targets, 2 UAVs and 1 was multi-copter drone. So 3 targets were hit by this air defense system at different altitude and different range. Okay, so this was the update in defense sector. And in space sector, India is going to launch its Gaganyaan mission, definitely. तो इसके लिए they are trying and testing this airdrop test. What is this? Basically a critical milestone है ये, to demonstrate end-to-end parachute based deacceleration system for Gaganyaan mission. When the crew members aboard which are boarding the Gaganyaan mission, when they will come and enter the Earth's horizon, they need to use this parachute, and so they need to test the weight, whether this parachute can carry that weight of the capsule or not. So this is a 5-ton weight which have been dropped by helicopter to check how the parachute system designed for the human space flight work in the real world condition. Okay, it was dropped by a Chinook helicopter. This can be seen from the image only. So these are the updates from the defense and space sector. These are the very important articles. This invasive species, this is for understanding, and the first article also very important. All the details have been given. I'll share these notes with you in comment box also, and also in the description box. If you have any issue, if you have any query, you can ask in the comment box. So now we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, good luck, goodbye. Thank you.